Good afternoon. Hope everybody's doing well today. It's George Adventure here. I want to do a video on a Copperlock. I'm actually an owner of two Copperlocks now, but I've got one that I'm going to do the review on, that I'm going to carry. The other one is the shotgun shell, orange bone shotgun shell Copperlock that I did a review on. So I'm gonna do the one that I'm carrying, and I've also got a mini Copperlock, and I hadn't carried it, but I've never ventured down the large Copperlock road, and I've been watching Doom Crew videos a lot, you know, his YouTube channel. He's got a great YouTube channel, by the way. But he's done a couple on his Copperlocks, and, you know, and I thought, you know, that's a pretty nice carry. I mean, the blade locks, you still have the traditional slip joint, even though it's locked. It's locking, but it's still got the copperhead. It's still got the copperhead body basically to it. It's still a copperhead, and the copperhead's one of my favorites. The two things that are, I guess, is the Copperlock is new for me to carry, and the Wharncliffe blade. I've been looking at the Wharncliffe blade, you know, and kind of pondering, you know, do I want to get one? You know, I've never used a Wharncliffe blade. Don't even know how they'll how they'll cut or whatever, you know. And I like Micarta. You know, I love bone. I love the case bone. You know, but I like the case Micarta that Case makes, and they make the black. They make the green and black. They make the red and black, and then they make the tan, the natural tan they came out with. I've got a black and green trapper, the stainless steel. I love it. I've got a black Micarta Stockman 75 that my wife got me for Christmas, and I carry it pretty much every day, or most of the time, and I'll swap out with my one of my trappers. But, you know, I've got probably, including my sod buster, I've got, you know, a couple sod busters I carry. I kind of alternate with, and then I've got two or three, you know, a Stockman and a couple of large trappers that I alternate. I've got the which is Micarta. I've got the brown burlap Micarta trapper, the Carbon XX, that's 1095 steel. So I have that. So I watched this one, excuse me, on eBay, and it was a little bit too much for me, but being just Micarta. But I made a guy an offer, you know, on it, and he took it. So I thought, well, might as well get it and try it. So it's got the black Micarta. It's got the brushed bolsters, which I love. It's got the Wharncliffe blade, and so far I'm digging the Wharncliffe blade. Excuse me. And it's brushed, and I like that. It actually matches my large Stockman 75. And I'm a shield person, so it's got the arrowhead shield, which I really like the different shields Case makes. but it's a good size knife, and the copperhead part here where it comes up makes a nice finger choil. I've done some cutting with it, sharpened a pencil yesterday with it. You can really get the tip here and really put a good point on a lead pencil. That's the Tang stamping. It's got 101549 WL. WL is Wharncliffe, and then it's stainless, says stainless steel. But it's you know, and I know people, there's people out there that don't care for Micarta. I got a friend of mine that he doesn't like it. I do. I love the Micarta, especially when I'm gonna carry. And you know, he says, well, it gets dirty and all. Well, what I do is I take a little bit of mineral oil, food grade mineral oil, and I just rub it on it. Rub it in, and it just makes it pretty. But you know, I've carried this. I carried it yesterday all day, and I'm carrying it today at work. This thing's got, you know, it's got a good snap to it. I don't see anything wrong. I don't see any gapping. And I hadn't messed with the blade or pushed it or anything. You can see how centered it is. You can see the brushed bolsters and the brushed blade. I've never used a Wharncliffe blade. I always have preferred a belly, but I think I'm gonna like this Wharncliffe blade. I just think it's got a heck of a point on it, boy. You could really get somebody off of you. You know, you put about that much of that point in somebody, and I better hush because I'll get banned from YouTube. But anyways, but it's good so far. What I found out that it's good for some little, you know, real delicate precision cuts with this tip, you know, with the tip part. And then of course you got all this slicing edge. Now it doesn't have any kind of a belly in it. It's got a belly here, but it doesn't have any kind of a belly. It's a flat edge. So I've got to get used to that. But and you can see compared to a Benchmade. Benchmade has a belly. Stockman has a belly, except for the sheep's foot. But you know, I'm gonna carry it. Like I said, this, my large Stockman in the black Micarta. It's got Micarta just like this, the same shield, that, and I've got two trappers that I alternate those four out. I carry my Stockman more than anything because my wife got it for me, so it means something. And I've always got a Soddy, always in my pocket. That never changes. I might change, you know, I've got two or three Soddys I'll swap out, but I've always got a Soddy, always in my pocket. So, and I've always got this. So I've been carrying this in a sheath, one of the sheaths I make, and it's you know, it's a single blade, single spring. It's fairly thin. You can see it's fairly thin. But I'll tell you, man, I like the way it feels. Which I've always loved copperheads, anyways. I've got some little mini copperheads. I've got a yellow bone-handled copperhead. It's just gorgeous. It's so pretty. I don't want to carry it. I've always loved copperheads. I've got two or three of the big standard big copperheads. It's not a lockback Copperlock. It's just a copperhead. So I've got a William Case copperhead I've had for years. Worth a pretty good bit, but So yeah, man, I'm liking this Wharncliffe blade here. So I think I'm gonna like carrying it. I'm gonna carry it this week, use it all week, kind of see what I think about it. See the different uses, different cutting techniques I'll have to use since it doesn't have a belly. It's a pretty knife to me. It's also got this big nail nick right here. I like that. That's just something different. When I pulled it out of the box, I noticed that first off. I thought, man, look at that nail nick. You know, I know a lot of people out there talk about case knives. They don't this and they don't that, and you know, I've got a lot of case knives. I got charades. I got bucks. You know, I've got a couple Rough Riders, and I've only had 2 case knives that I've had to send back. And I sent one back and got it back, and they fixed it, and it's actually a red and black Micarta mid-folding hunter. And then I got a yellow-handled trapper that the blade, the spade blade would not, it wouldn't even close. It just kind of hang open there. So I sent it back and got my money back. But honestly, all the case knives I've got, I don't have any complaints with them at all. Now I do understand people liking the GEC because I like them. You know, I hadn't pulled the trigger on one yet, but I will probably always be a case guy. You know, probably will always carry case knives. That's my number one. You know, and you know, I do think sometimes case needs to, you know, spend a little more time on the grind here on sharpening it. They need to do a little bit better on it. But I always sharpened my brand, even this bug out. I sharpened it when I got it. You can see how I used the heck out of this thing. This has got some good steel, but you know, all in all, and Case makes more knives than GEC too. So GEC can take their time more. Case needs to, you know, there's a couple things Case needs to work on, but all in all, I've been buying Case knives for years, and I will continue to collect them. I enjoy collecting them. I just enjoy collecting knives, period. And I may venture over to a GEC, but I'll always carry a case knife, because when I have a case knife in my hand, to me, and maybe y'all think it's silly, but when I have a case knife in my hand, it's America. It's something, which GECs are too, but I grew up with case knives. I grew up with buck knives and charade knives. Those are the 3 knives we grew up with. We didn't have Benchmade. We didn't have Civivi. We didn't have none of that stuff. We had buck, case, and charade. And that's what we carried. That's what my daddy carried, my uncle carried. You know, people my age, you know, a lot of guys, when I was in high school, they had a buck 110 they'd let you carry them in school. Now, times have changed, you know, because the world's went crazy. So now you can't carry a knife. We did. I had a pocket knife in my pocket in high school. A lot of people don't believe that, but it's true. So times have changed, you know, so unfortunately. But like I said, I think this is going to be a winner. I just got to get used to this Wharncliffe blade with no belly in it, and I'm sure I will. So, it's going to be a great EDC knife, especially being in Micarta. So, anyways, hope y'all like this video. Doom Crew, you did it, man. You got me. You got me over to these Copperlocks. I've got another video coming up here, probably in a day or two. I'm gonna do on the shotgun shell persimmon bone back pocket that I got. It is gorgeous. So remember, folks, lazy man carries a dull knife. Keep your knife sharp. If you like this video, I would appreciate a comment. I would appreciate if you'd subscribe to my channel, like, hit the bell. God bless you. Y'all have a great week.